at KK's Action Reviews. We are back in here with another video, and guys, we're here to talk about All-American Homecoming, episode 4, called If Only You Knew. This was actually a really great episode. Like I said, I actually liked last week's episode because we come to the conclusion of Simone thinking that, oh my god, Damon's mother could possibly be Amara, and maybe that's what broke her and Marcus up. And, we get a lot of that in this episode, but first things first, before I talk about what I liked about this episode, I always like to let Annie go first on what she liked about the episode. Annie, what did you like about this episode? I feel like I already know, but say it. You can say
we already do know.
Yeah, I do know. Okay,
so, if you guys don't know, I do watch All-American with him.
She does.
But I don't know if
She got on to it late. I started watching it. Did I start watching it? No, I started watching it on Netflix. I think the first season I started watching on Netflix, and then past that, that's when I started catching on with the show. But yeah, she got on in what season did you get on?
3.
3. And was that live? You watched it with me, or watched it on Netflix to catch up?
I'm still catching up on season 2 on Netflix.
Yeah.
But I'm watching
You watched season 3 and 4 with me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I did watch All-American with Zach, but I like this episode because my favorite character from All-American, Jordan.
Yep. It is Jordan. So you were very happy about seeing that man in this episode. Like, she was ecstatic when she found out he was even going to be in this episode. Like, when they showed the preview for this week's episode, she was flipping out. She was excited. I was excited too because I was like, I like what's going on. Them kind of like coming to a conclusion on who's Damon's parents, but I also love that it was going to spice things up because of the whole my fear from day one when the All-American Homecoming cast did the whole crossover in All-American on the All-American episode when we met the Homecoming cast is the whole Damon liking Simone liking Damon, and that's pretty much what a lot of this episode is that Jordan's fear.
Yeah, Jordan doesn't like Damon at all. He liked Damon when Damon came to...
when Jordan went to go to the college with Simone to even check out the campus.
He met Jordan. Jordan met Damon, and Damon didn't like Jordan. Jordan liked Damon.
Mainly, Jordan just didn't like Damon because, I don't think it was the other way around. Damon really didn't have a problem with Jordan, but Jordan had a problem with Damon because Damon was hitting on Simone without...
But I don't think anybody from All-American liked Damon.
No, that's not true, because him and Spencer had a moment. I just think it was really the main
Olivia
core of
was
it.
there and she didn't like him. Layla was there, I think she didn't like him.
No, the only ones that were there was Spencer, Olivia, Jordan, and Simone. That was it of the cast. Layla didn't go. I don't think so. I think it was just them checking out the school.
I'll go back and watch it, but
But the main takeaway, they did that episode. It's clearly the show. This is where Simone's going. And they were setting up that show with those characters and setting up the fact that, oh my god, maybe Jordan and Simone's relationship isn't going to stick because she might find a new love interest in when she goes off to college and to her show.
That's what's happening.
Exactly.
She is falling in love with Damon, but she doesn't want to break up with Jordan.
And
she
I feel like
stay with Jordan, but if Damon's interfering with that,
I think she likes Damon because clearly I even told Annie because that's clearly what I'm trying to show Annie if that's what's exactly happening, but it really pointed out to me even more that I was like, okay, you clearly showed that there's something there. Why haven't we really seen it? I mean, we've seen little bits of Simone being happy when she found out in the first episode when she found out Damon is close. I guess his sleeping quarters is close or something. Her, his dorm room, and I mean, she was she was angry when this girl came up to Damon in this episode, asked for his number.
Name's Erica.
So, I saw it, we're really seeing that she is jealous. The person that she leans on, is Damon.
And for everything.
Because Jordan's not there. And Jordan really found a problem with that in this episode.
But, she could have picked up the phone call. I mean, only a phone call, but she could have picked up the phone call. Jordan.
She could have, and I feel like in a way she was kind of using the excuse of, oh, I know you're busy. But like I said, I mean, it's kind of Jordan's fault too, because I said that in my All-American review. it's Jordan's fault because the episode where like Jordan is getting in Layla in Olivia's head saying, oh, if I I thank God Simone's not it doesn't go to the same school for me because I wouldn't have time to fit her in my snack breaks, meaning that Jordan was kind of like hinting at that it was that it was Olivia's fault that like Spencer couldn't focus on like him trying to fit into the school and him trying to get his schedule put together. When it's like, dude, how are you giving that advice when you're saying like, oh, I'm happy Simone's not here, because I'm doing my thing, she's doing her thing, but that's what's making you lose your girlfriend is that she's leaning on other people, depending on other people instead of depending on you, because you have to find a balance, which we just had an episode of All American where we saw Spencer and Olivia find balance in their relationship, and that's where I feel like that's where like Simone and Jordan really struggle, and we saw that in this episode is that Jordan found out that Simone had her, you remember? Simone had her panic attack. And Jordan really took that personal, saying, oh, who'd you lean on? Damon? She's like, I've been leaning on him a lot since you're not here because I know you're busy. And that doesn't mean that, I like him or anything, but we clearly know she does. We saw that in the All-American series when they introduced the All-American Homecoming cast.
Keisha's showing Jordan around the school, and they come up the elevator, and he sees Simone
and Damon
sleeping.
Yeah, because they were studying.
So nothing happened. We were studying. Which I don't think that was it at all.
No, they definitely were. They were studying, they just fell asleep. And that's why Damon's like, no, it's not what it looks like. We just fell asleep because we were studying. But that's not what Jordan initially thought. He's like, oh, whatever, and anybody's like, oh, I believe you or whatever. But it was also the fact of she was kind of she's keeping it a secret that she kind of thinks that she might like Damon, but we won't see her admit that, I feel until later. And everybody else, think about it. Keisha believes that she likes Damon. I bet you, what's the other friend? It's Keisha and
Nate.
And Nate, I bet you Nate knows that again. Remember when Nate's like, oh, Simone Hicks, about how she's saying about Damon? Everybody knows that she likes Damon.
Well, I feel like Nate knows more about Simone because he's her roommate. Or she's her roommate.
Well, it's also the fact of it's not only that, it's the fact that they both know her a lot because of, again, them getting introduced in the last episode and them having such, that is our friend group. That's how she made her little connection through her touring the school. So it's I like how they know that she can't play it off, that they know she likes Damon. But she doesn't realize that, but I feel like she does. And I like how it's not right away we're she's oh, I like him, or oh, you know what I mean? She's slightly learning that she likes him. But she kind of tried to push it off, and when they first met, oh, whatever. But she kind of liked him then a little bit. She was starting to like him, oh, I like him. But I'm wondering what is going to be the breaking point where if they might break up, because by the end of this episode they kind of make up about the whole situation.
I kind of don't like Simone and Jordan. I'm kind of on a different side with
you. Like Simone and Jordan? What do you mean?
I don't like Simone and Jordan.
You want my theory, which I don't even know if that's going to happen anymore because Layla's with Clay. But my theory originally, because we saw that connection between Jordan and Layla, I thought they were going to get together and Simone was going to get together with Damon, which could still happen. Something, because clearly Layla's not taking the whole Clay and them, even being in a relationship seriously at all. She just thinks that it's just a summer fling, nothing more. And I think so. Maybe if they do break up Simone and Jordan, maybe Jordan and Layla could get together. I don't know, but I'm just happy that she kind of blew off the kind of saying, oh, that's not it's not what you think. I'm not keeping it a secret from you that I like Damon or sometime between me and Damon. She kind of moved the subject to, oh, I'm actually, I'm so close to Damon right now because I'm trying to find out, I think I might know who his actual biological parents are, which is a good transition to make Jordan feel have a comfort about, oh, I have nothing to worry about since that's why you're so close to Damon right now. Also because you're his friend, but you're so close and it looks like whatever because of, I'm trying to figure out, I think I found out who his parents are. I like that because it kind of settles down Jordan's thoughts of, oh, I'm worried, even more now. Because he was very worried until they made up about it. Until, Simone finally revealed, oh, I think I'm so close. I'm, that's why I'm talking to JR. And that's why I'm, me and Damon are spending so much time together. Yeah, we're friends. But it's also because I think I might find out, who, Damon's parents are.
Mm-hmm.
And, me and also the reason we're so close is because I could be his cousin. and everything. That was more of like a reason to be close to Damon because I think I'm finding out that he might be my cousin and that might be Amara's kid. Okay. So, which is a crazy situation I'll let you talk about.
The other thing I liked this episode was when Simone and JR are trying to figure out if Damon is his brother, she goes to Amara and was like, "Oh, are you Damon's brother? You took off a semester your sophomore year of college and
everything fits out and it works."
And then Amara just like pushed it off, started laughing,
laughs it off, and she like. You gotta admit, she convinced us for a second. Like, oh my god, was our theory wrong? But I was like, we're like, no, it can't be wrong. It just it fits too perfectly.
And then when Simone needs to go on a date with Jordan, Amara's whole face was
just
like changed.
Like, oh shit, because
like, she found out that
she found out because she even said when she laughed about, she's like, oh, you should make some. You should do like fantasy writing or makeup. You know what I mean? Or you should be in writing class or something or like. I laughed. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, I'm believing that this might not be true, our theory, until she laughed and her face just changed. I was like, oh my god, our theory was right. Holy shit. So I'm excited because it's like, one, we don't know if Marcus knows that, because we find out that, because even like Amara confronts Marcus saying, oh, why did you break up with me, after, when you came back from the mate, or like, you were like, I guess you came back from whatever or something. Like, he did, like, he was in like, I don't know, it was like when he was still doing baseball, and he was doing baseball, like, and he was almost to the pros or something, and she's like, why'd you break up with me? And I think he knows that, she cheated on him with, Marcus's friend, which is JR's father, clearly from what we understand. And, like, there's a moment between when, we see Marcus and JR's father talking. And it's like Marcus wants nothing to do. He's kind of like playing it cool around JR's dad, like, oh, how's it going, whatever, or when JR's father tries to like, come say hi to him and stuff. He tries to like play it like, oh, I'm gonna be respectable, but I don't like you because I know what happens. And it's like he knows that. I think he knows that, at least about the cheating, maybe, but he doesn't know that Amara had a kid. And I feel like that's the only thing that he knows is that. Amara cheated on him with JR's father. I feel like that's all he knows. Maybe he doesn't know about the baby, Marcus. And I don't even know if that is true in all this, if JR's father even knows that Amara had a baby. I don't even know. I feel like maybe she had it hidden, and then that's why
mom gave him the picture of the baby, remember?
Exactly, which is all confusing to me. So it's like, okay, so did JR's father know? And so did... JR's mother, and then they worked out their marriage all throughout that, because maybe he said, like, oh, it was a mistake, blah, 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 blah. But it seems like that's been attacking their marriage a lot, because, they've been, they haven't been in sync for a while, and, like, I knew when JR's father came in the room, and, like, because, JR has the picture, getting ready to talk to his father. Not only about that, but the fact that, JR's father lied to him about the whole, going to meet up with his friends at this, like, place that they used to eat at. And then, he finds out at the big banquet dinner or whatever, the big, alumni dinner, that, when, JR talks to Marcus, like, oh, how is, like, oh, like, did you and my father, like, oh, why aren't you with, my father and his friends or whatever, because you're on the baseball team too. He's like, oh, they're sleeping. They're not at, like, restaurant. They haven't been there in years. And finds out that, JR finds out that his father lied to him. And we don't know quite why he lied. My theory was maybe he saw Amara. Maybe, they wanted to, or that he wanted to catch up with Amara and talk to her about, like, or whatever. Or, like, maybe he never lost feelings for her. I don't know. Or maybe he wants to talk about, like, I don't know. I don't know if he knows about that he had a kid. I'm assuming he did, because why would, JR's mother give JR that picture if Marcus didn't even know himself that he had a kid, with Amara. So I'm thinking, I don't know. Maybe they agreed to keep that a secret, but maybe JR's mother knew that they were going to get a divorce and didn't want that secret to not get out, that he might have a brother. So that's why she gave it to him, hoping, knowing that she was going to get a divorce and wanting JR to know that he has a brother out there. And maybe it just was weighing too heavily on his mother for all those years being married to the father, and having, a kid, with somebody else. And I'm thinking, JR's father had to have cheated on the mother of JR. I'm assuming, or maybe not. Maybe that happened before JR's dad got together with JR's mom. I don't know.
No, because they want to be linked to divorce.
As we still don't know enough about all that. But I do like that it is confirmed that like she did have a kid. It must be Amara's kid. It just must be Damon. Must be Amara's kid, along with the whole foreshadowing with JR's father, and that kind of like it started to like oh, I'm happy I could Damon could be my brother. We are brothers, like, you know what I mean. But we might actually be brothers until the moment where like JR and Damon are talking, and he says that to Damon like, oh. JR's father is like talking to Damon and says, "Oh, you are going to be the one that saves this program. You know what I mean? You have a big future ahead of you," and it kind of makes JR jealous. And he's like, "Oh, maybe he has a moment with Simone after at the thing it was at the dinner.
Yeah.
Was it the bank? What was it? The alumni dinner, and says, I can't. I'm afraid that Damon is my brother because I don't want to be in a shadow when it comes to baseball. You know what I mean? And like I could clearly see that my dad and him are, like, that is the son my dad's always wanted. And that kind of made me really feel bad for JR that, he was waiting to spend time with his father, but his father would rather spend time with somebody else that he might know it's his son or might not. I'm assuming probably not. But, like, that JR kind of knows, like, kind of has an idea of, like, oh my God, that it might be my brother. And my dad clearly, like, wants to be with him more. And, like, if I tell my dad, like, if he doesn't know, like, oh, that is your son, that could pull my dad away from me and make him want to go more to the son he wishes that he had. I was like, damn, that makes me sad. So I love how he kind of like regretted it for a second because his dad just paid more attention to Damon, paid more attention trying to catch up with somebody else than catch up with his own son at the game that he got tickets for. I just felt really bad for JR in this episode. But what else did you like about the episode, Andy? I'm just rambling because I really liked this episode.
I just liked seeing Jordan.
Yeah, it was nice to see him, that's for sure.
Like, I was more excited to see Jordan and Zach because Zach isn't really
I don't really like Jordan. I haven't been really liking him for a while. It's been really pissing me off.
His favorite from All American is
Spencer, bro. Spencer, you can't go wrong with that character. Man literally is the Superman of the show. No doubt. Saving everybody. No. Honestly, putting everybody else first except himself. That's facts, bro. No. Jordan doesn't do that.
Jordan's better.
No, he's not.
Jordan, Asher, and JJ are the best.
No.
Yes.
No. JJ is great though. That's for sure. I think even better than Asher. Because JJ's like JJ is literally the person you cannot hate. Everybody's rude to JJ, honestly. Like, JJ's the one friend everybody wishes that they had because he cares about everybody.
I feel bad for Asher now.
I'm starting to like Asher a little bit more now because he's grown up a little bit more. He's matured a little bit more, especially after him making that bad decision with the whole steroids. But back to this, though. What did you think about the Cam and Keisha thing? About, like, they're, like, he's trying to get Keisha's, to, like... Trying to get, like, her forgiveness.
I just think it was really wrong that he threw the problems with her dad in her face.
That was messed up. I really didn't like that. Because, again, she clearly, like, cared about him in a situation. Like, oh, do you want to talk about it? That he just was so angry. I understand where he was coming from, but he had no right to throw it back in her face for her caring. And then he did it again when, he said he was going to go through the surgery so he could start playing football. He threw it back again in her face. And when, he came in at the last sequence, he's like, he's like, oh, can we talk? Or they're just like, oh, I'm done talking to somebody that's just going to throw it back into my face for caring. And we clearly could see that Keisha never thought it was just like, they were just going to sleep together. She clearly had feelings for Cam, especially when she found out that he couldn't play football anymore. And I feel like Keisha's such a great girlfriend for Cam because she can keep him in line, and I feel like they just match so well. I feel like Cam finally found someone that matches him very well. It literally is like a perfect girlfriend for him that will keep him in line because Cam needs to be put in line. Man was an ass in All American. I'm just so happy that he's like being so grounded and so like fleshed out as a character that, somebody's actually willing to ground him to the point where he's like, dude, you need to stop being stubborn and corny, and you need to be whatever. I loved that. I loved how, like, she's going to keep him in check, and I like how they made up. And I like how he finally did take her advice about maybe you should wait because surgery is dangerous. There could be bad things that can happen. You could have seizures. There's, like, a lot of, like, after effects. And I love how he's, like, because he had the moment with, Marcus after, like, he, was on the alum team, because I guess one of the alum members got sick or something, so he filled in because he was talking mad shit earlier in the episode saying, oh, baseball's Baseball's not even a sport. I used to play baseball. Now I found a real man sport, which is football. And, you know, Damon used that against him, saying, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, oh, Cam, you know, would you want to, you know, join the, like, we need somebody on the alum team so we can play, so, you know, they don't forfeit so we can't play.
He's like, I don't got time for that.
And he's like, ain't nobody got time for that. I was like, oh, that was great. That was, like, a good thing. And he's like, and Damon's like, I guess, you know, he's not as good as he says he is. And he's like, I knew right away. That's a great way to get an athlete to do something when you say, you're not as good as, you know, you think you are. That will get any athlete to step up to the occasion and say, F you, I'm doing it. Like, I was so glad that Damon used, like, his, like, because again, Cameron thinks he's hot shit, and I knew right away when Damon's like, maybe he doesn't think maybe he's not as good as he says he is. I knew that was right away going to make him join the alum team. I was like, that's great.
Also, while we're on the topic of Damon, I like him so much better in this show.
And Legacies. Dude, you're mean, Annie. He was the best part in Legacies, and they did that character so dirty.
I love Peyton Alex Smith.
I'm glad. I'm glad Peyton Alex Smith has his own damn show now. I'm happy. I'm thrilled. He's thriving, and he actually has a great story. I want to learn more about that character though, other than him not knowing his parents. I want to know a lot more about him.
Yes,
I want to, and I hope we really flesh him out more than us just not knowing
who he is,
who his biological parents are. I really want to know more about him.
It's Amara.
What makes him him? I want to know that.
His mom's Amara. I'm sticking to his mom's Amara.
100%. Because that face change of, oh my god, like, you know, I mean, how did she find out? That already confirmed, that confirmed us. All of us that, like, guessed that it is true. You know, Damon's mother is Amara, which is crazy.
I'm trying to figure out how JR's mom had picture of Damon.
I don't know. And hopefully we get an explanation of that, because I'm not going to lie, when they had that moment and JR's father sat down, I thought for sure he was going to tell him. But I knew, I was like, no, he's going to say they had a divorce, and that's why his father wasn't at that alum dinner. I knew it. Right when he sat down saying, we need to talk, I'm like, oh my god, they're getting a divorce. Because that's usually the every show's way of tricking us from thinking a person's going to say something, is always a parent saying, we're getting a divorce. It's happened so many times on the CW. It happened in Stargirl. Remember when you think that, like, the parents know, Beth's parents know about her being whatever, but it's actually, no, they're getting a divorce.
But I think they end up they don't end up being divorced, because they found out.
They ended up staying together. Because of her becoming a superhero. And they're like, we must have done something right. This and that. Blah 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 blah. But I really loved this episode. I really did. I do think more and more that Damon and Simone are definitely getting together. That's just that was their intent. Cousins. Well, yeah, I guess you're right. Now I guess they really can't. I guess, yeah. I didn't think about it until you really just say it. Yeah, they can't. Which I think really will be hard for Simone and Damon, because clearly Damon loves Simone. Like, he loves that girl. So it's like, I think it's going to be very hard. The more that Mara kind of keeps the secret hidden, that this could affect things a lot. Because I don't know. It's gonna be very hard. I feel like for Damon, but I feel like it would be something that they'll just get over with and find out, we're cousins, blah 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 blah. We're here for each other. But I kind of hope that is true. That's what does happen, because I do want Simone and Damon to stay together. And not Simone, Simone and Jordan to stay together, because, like I said, Simone promised Jordan that their long distance would work. But it's not just from Simone's side. Jordan needs to make an effort. That's why I was so pissed at Jordan for getting in Olivia's head, because it's like, dude, your communications suck with Simone, and you guys are long distance. So why are you giving all this good boyfriend and girlfriend advice when you suck at your relationship and somebody else is like trying to get with your girl? It's like, dude, you have no right to talk, Jordan. And I'm just happy that, you know, he's kind of realized, we need to come together. We need to work on our communications, because we actually need to, like, you know, lean on each other and, you know, make this relationship work. And I'm happy that they had their like Spencer and Olivia moment in this episode. So I'm excited to see where things going forward with their relationship. I'm excited to see when the secret does get out, whether it's from Amara or whether it's from maybe Marcus, if he knows that she had a kid and that, you know. Yeah. Because I think as far as he knows is that Amara cheated on him, and that's why he broke it off with her. But she doesn't think that he knows that. And I feel like JR's father talking to Marcus thinks that, like, when it was like a fine encounter, even though we could tell that Marcus was kind of hesitant on talking to JR's dad. That, you know, even JR's father doesn't know that, you know, Marcus knows that they got together when Marcus was dating Amara. I feel like there's a lot to unravel here still.
I really think that Jordan and Simone are gonna break up because of Damon, but also I'm kind of happy.
Like they break up and then they find out that they're siblings, and then it's like
they're cousins.
Where to go now?
But I'm also very happy that they got that Jordan and Simone and All-American got their marriage annulled because I did not. No, I just couldn't.
I mean, yeah, it was very, very early.
But
also it's special now because I want to. I hope to see them really have really know that they want to get married without anybody backing out. I really want to see that moment with them, their relationship thrive, and then they get married. I'd love to see that episode.
Yeah, because Laura was not for it.
Same with I would love to see.
Laura was not for it.
I'm literally gonna be so happy in the episode where Spencer and Olivia get married because that's gonna happen. At some point before we get the last episode of season of All American, I bet that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna cry because I've been wanting them together from day one, and it finally has happened. I'm happy.
And it's weird. Olivia dated both of Layla's exes.
It's not that if you
dated Asher and she dated Spencer. They both dated Layla first.
But it's very real because that's happened in real life. It happens in real life where you could have, for instance, you could have let's say you have a friend. And let's say the friend has a boyfriend, and it's you know what I mean. I don't want to explain the story because it's the whole big shit.
Guilty
but that. Oh my god, you shouldn't be saying that shit because it's just me. That's messed up. I think that there should be a guy and a girl code. I do think that. That's just me. But I would never do that if my friend had a girlfriend, they broke up. I would never go to date the girl. That's not me. I just feel like there is stuff you shouldn't do, and I feel like that's just me though. You, on the other hand, no, I think that's messed up, but that's just me. If you think it's okay, then you think it's okay.
I don't think it's okay.
But whatever. I don't want to get into this topic anymore.
Twice.
It's not right, but that's just me. The fact you're just telling people it's just whatever. I'm not even gonna cut it out. You're beat. No, you're honestly beat. Okay, but honestly though. I'm thrilled to see the next episode. I'm thrilled because I feel like now we're really gaining steam with the show and the storylines. I feel like now I'm actually caring about the show because it was a very slow start in the beginning. I was so bored until now, so I'm kind of hope we keep up the momentum. I'm honestly kind of also hoping that we get more of a baseball presence in the show, more of because in All American we get the locker room scenes, we get more of we care about the characters, all the other side characters more than what we do, in All American more than what we do here. But then again, this is just the first season though, the first couple of episodes.
This show's called All American Homecoming,
which is a terrible name I still think of a show. Homecoming, I just don't like that.
All American is based around football, but this show is also called All American
Homecoming.
And it's all about baseball, basically.
I don't like the homecoming part, and I'm still trying to figure out why it's called that. The homecoming part. What is this, Spider-Man? The homecoming, the home series. Are we really doing this? But
there's Spider-Man Homecoming. Far from home.
Yeah.
Far from home. No way home.
Yeah. It's a little the home gimmick. I don't know. But I loved this episode. I cannot wait for. But I almost forgot. Also, we gotta talk about Thea and Thea's grandmother being an alum, and I guess they're doing a 2v2, and they went, and Thea's grandmother wanted Simone, the two best players on the team, to go against her and her friends, and they totally lost because they didn't work together. And we saw that also from JR and Damon's side. JR was so focused on whether Damon's his brother or not, and whether his dad is lying to him.
Bad calls.
His dad's lying to him, and and his dad might favor, if it is true that his dad might favor Damon. He has all that going on in his head, along with of course Damon trying to figure out why Simone and JR are keeping secrets, and him trying to he just has his own things going on in his head. So just JR was giving shitty ass calls of do a fastball, do a curveball, do whatever. He was not giving good calls at all, good plays at all. He was screwing up everything. They almost lost until later on. Later on, when they said, okay, just James I'm sorry, whatever. Jay's I'm sorry because I am giving bad plays, blah 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 blah. We have to get our head out of the clouds and we got to do this. And I'm happy they made it up. But we didn't get that moment between Thea and Simone. They just were not communicating, which you're supposed to communicate when you're doing doubles in tennis. and they just didn't communicate. When you see freaking Thea's grandmother and her friend, they're doing like they're OP. They're literally working together. You clearly can tell that they are one and that they are one when it comes to doing doubles. That they're thinking like they're in sync. But Simone and Thea are not in sync yet, and I'm hoping we see them really work together. So maybe we can do a rematch with them or whatever, and it shows that they were working as a team. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe Thea's grandmother knew that Simone would be a challenge for Thea, but wanted them to work together, not be rivals, but work together. And maybe that was the kind of the life lesson that Thea's grandmother was trying to tell Thea. You need to work together, even if you think someone's better than you, and you think of them as a rival. That's not the case. You're on one team. You guys are teammates. You guys need to work as a team, not rivals. You guys are not rivals. You guys are teammates. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what she was trying to tell her. But I feel like Thea doesn't understand that yet. Hence why she was so angry that they lost.
Yeah.
But I'm loving what we're getting. With the last episode and this week's episode, fire episodes.
I just think this episode was the best out of the first.
This was the fourth, so the other two were bad, in my personal opinion. They were mid. I think they were mid, but these two episodes are key.
I think the first three episodes were awful, and this one was
they weren't the best. I mean, it was the start of a show. It didn't start very strong, but so far so damn good. I'm really enjoying this now, so I'm happy too because I was getting tired of
I hope we see more of Jordan because
we definitely will. I mean, when she's there, he's definitely going to be coming over a lot. We're already seeing the communication on both sides, like him talking about Simone. I wonder if, like, in the next episode of All American, we'll see Jordan coming back from seeing Simone. I bet you. Or he'll mention it or somehow. It seems like everything is, like, timed very well. So I'm thinking that in the next week's episode, he might mention, I just came back seeing Simone. She's good. Whatever. And I feel like, whatever. But I'm excited for next week's episode of All American Homecoming because of the blackout.
Yeah.
And the secret of Damon possibly,
coming out.
And the secret of Damon, that someone has about Damon and JR has about Damon might come out to everybody else because it seems like Nate wants to know, Keisha wants to know, and like everybody's like,
Wait, is Nate back next week?
Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nate said what happens in the blackout stays in the blackout. Remember? Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay, but like, yeah, Nate was in the promo.
Okay.
Saying what happens in the blackout stays in the blackout, which I'm super excited because a lot of shit can go down. Even possibly, it won't happen probably that soon after like Simone just saw Jordan. What happens in the blackout stays in the blackout. I was like, oh my god, we're going to see Simone and Damon getting together and they're just going to kind of just keep that to themselves. But I was like, no, Simone wouldn't do that after she just reassured Jordan that they're fine.
Yeah.
I was like, that would have been really shitty if that's what she would have done though. I was like, that would have been a really crappy thing to do. But I'm happy they're not doing that, which is great. Now, if that would have happened later down the line, and maybe Simone and Jordan were fighting, I could have seen that then possibly happening, but no. Simone is very, like, she's a very loyal girlfriend, and I don't think she would do that.
Yeah.
So, which is great. Because I really want Jordan and Simone to stay together. Fingers crossed. But I want to know what your thoughts, your theories are about, what your thoughts are about this episode. I want to know what your theories are about the next episodes to come. I want to know what you guys thought about, like, the main premise of this episode, and, like, what was your favorite parts, what you guys didn't like about this episode. Let me know down in the let me know down in the comments below, and I'll tell my sister because my sister still doesn't have her phone. Just let me know especially if you guys have any questions for her. Let me know, and I'll send them her way, and she can respond to you on my phone. But I'm super excited for next week's episode. Are you? Mm-hmm. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, and like this video because guys, I am literally almost at 500 subs. We are literally at 466. I am so close to hitting 500. It's not even funny. Like, I really want to hit 500 because I get to open the community tab, and that is my goal. It's been my goal for a while, and we got to do it, guys. We got to do it. So, yet again, if you guys have come across my channel before, I would really, really appreciate it if you guys subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, and like this video because it all helps with the algorithm. It helps get my videos out there more so more people know that I'm doing All American Homecoming reviews and a whole bunch of other shows, and they'll want to come join the fam with us, guys, because it doesn't just help me, but it helps out our family and helps it grow, and it really helps me achieve my dreams of making this channel one of the biggest reviewing channels on YouTube. That is my goal, and I really want to do big things with this channel, guys. I'm really committed, as you guys can tell. I'm dropping videos every week, especially a lot more stuff is coming with Miss Marvel coming out in June. We have in April. We have Morbius on April April. Well, technically April 31st because that's the Thursday. April 1st on that Friday. So, we have that coming out in, April. We have, in March 30th, we have Moon Knight coming out. Obi-Wan Kenobi comes out May 25th. Like, we have a lot of shows coming, guys. Along with Stargirl's coming soon. Umbrella Academy's coming this June.
Really?
Yeah, it's coming. It got confirmed for June. So we're getting Umbrella Academy in June. So, guys, we have a lot of things coming. And she's doing my Umbrella Academy season. What is it? 3. Season 3 review for me, with me. We're gonna binge it in one day, and then we're gonna come on here and do a full spoiler review on what we think. Maybe we'll do a non-spoiler and then we'll do a spoiler.
Yeah.
I think that's what we'll do to make it more interesting for you guys. But guys, also I really want to communicate with you.
Also, Shazam 2 comes out in June.
That too. We got a ton of stuff coming out along with Black Adam coming out this year. Oh, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness comes out May 7th. Guys, we have so much content coming out. That one, I think, she'll be in my Shazam review, Fury of the Gods review, spoiler and probably spoiler free, along with the Umbrella Academy review, along with, of course, Stargirl when Stargirl season 3 starts up. We just have a lot of things happening.
This weekend,
Riverdale comes back on. So, guys, also, if we hit that 500 mark, I get to open the community tab and talk to you guys about this on what you guys want to see me review. Whether it be a TV show, a movie, if you guys want to see a spoiler review first or a spoiler-free review first, it helps me know what you want to see. So that way it doesn't just, help me out, but it helps you guys out on what you guys want to see. Because that's why I do it. Because I want to see I want to do this for you guys. That's why I get content out every week. So you guys have something to watch. So I would just really, really appreciate it again is that we are almost there. But guys, that was the video. We'll see you guys next Wednesday for episode 5 of All American Homecoming. But we hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Peace.
Bye.